On initial look, I thought this was a foul, Richard. I thought this was a foul, Richard.
I thought this was a foul, Richard.
I thought this was a foul, Richard.
You have a player that's in the air, so he's a defensive player. You don't really make an attempt at the ball. Like that to me is a flagrant one.
Steve, does that meet the criteria in your estimation?
Well, you know what? Richard says it is. I'm going to disagree with him right now. I don't think there's a windup. He does try to hold him up a little bit. Is he in the air a little bit? Yes, but I don't think there's any potential for injury there.
What about the lack of a play? He doesn't really have a shot at the basketball, Steve. That doesn't come into it here.
You know what, though, Doris, that doesn't come into it. Not playing the basketball is not part of the criteria. He can grab him and hold him up, as we see plenty of times during layups when people try to, foul them by preventing a layup. So that's what he's trying to do, in my opinion, preventing this layup. I think it's a hard playoff foul, in my opinion.
For the Indiana fans, I know you don't want that happening to your players on the other end, on the other side, because now this has been a standard set. For the Indiana fans, I know you don't want that happening to your players on the other end, on the other side, because now this has been a standard set.
This finals has been really good, but I can't say I'm surprised ESPN is looking to replace Doris Burke next season. She was fine as a sideline reporter, but immediately throwing her in the finals broadcast as a commentator was a mistake. And I honestly expected better from Richard Jefferson, but maybe that's my fault. I'm not talking about their little quips where they try to go viral.
I don't know much about history, but I know the French and German don't like one another. And Rudy says, bonjour, Mr. Hartenstein. Have a little bit of that left-handed dunk.
And Shea, just like all great events in history, you just witnessed this.
What does the double big give you? Chet, we said we had to feel you at the rim tonight. Send that back, young son.
And say what you want about Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, but at least they understood the fans and what's best for the game.
All this grabbing and diving to the ground, pulling guys with you, we have to start eliminating this stuff. Flail, fake, embellish, flop. Where are the fines? Flail, fake, embellish, flop. Where are the fines?
One of the biggest reasons they were fired was the NBA wanting less criticism of officials and less complaining about flopping and physicality. But this is not the answer. Doris and RJ were demanding for a flagrant foul in the finals for stopping a fast break layup. And when they were wrong, they started throwing a temper tantrum on air.
This is the windup. That right there, the raise the arm to bring down is the windup. For the Indiana fans, I know you don't want that happening to your players on the other end, on the other side, because now this has been a standard set.
What about the lack of a play? He doesn't really have a shot at the basketball, Steve. That doesn't come into it here.
That was a hard playoff foul when I played.
Right.
Richard Jefferson should be happy they're calling it like when he played. I know Reggie Miller would be. They don't even understand the rules on what a flagrant foul is. Going for the ball has nothing to do with it. A player can make a basketball play without directly going for the ball. Now, going for the ball does impact a clear path foul, but you can't get those when a player is shooting. In this case, he's preventing an easy layup in transition. Nesmith never threw Caruso down, he actually held him up to give him a safe landing. And look how Caruso lands after the contact, softly on his feet. There's nothing dangerous or unnecessary about this play. It's a basketball play. It's stopping an easy layup in transition. If that's a flagrant, there's nothing a defender can do to stop a layup. They have to just let them score. He did hit him in the groin, but incidental contact doesn't apply here. If it did, Lou Dort would have gotten a flagrant for elbowing Halliburton in the face. But not only was there no flagrant, there was no call. And I'm not pointing this out to side with Indiana. I'm pointing this out to side with physicality. The less impact the refs have on a game, the better. I never thought there would be a time where the refs all agree on letting them play, allowing physical basketball, and the broadcast team is in disbelief. Both teams have been allowed to play very physical. It's one of the reasons OKC has such an elite defense. And both teams have had horrible calls go their way. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
But there hasn't been a single game decided by the refs, and if physical basketball continues, it will stay that way. Advocating for more flagrant fouls, technical fouls, or just a softer game in the finals is bad for the league.